Yeah. Yeah. Let me take you on a day.
What's up, guys? We're back with Talkin Sporty, of course, with Brittany Bets and P. I'm P.
And I'm Brittany Bets. What is up, guys?
All right,
week three.
We are entering week 3. Seems like a lot of stuff has happened in the first 2 weeks. So let's get it started.
Yeah, it's been pretty eventful in the first 2 weeks. And then to start this week, we just got the breaking news a little bit earlier today that the Rams have traded Cam Akers. I mean, to no surprise. The game on Sunday, I don't know if you got the notification that he was just like a healthy scratch, and there was some team issues with him taking accountability and just not being the type of Ram that they need him to be in that locker room. And I mean, McVay and running back drama, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'm shocked he even lasted this long. It seems like whatever was going on with that relationship, it seems like there was just no repairing it. They tried to salvage it late last season. Nothing really happened. It was like, I'm honestly shocked it lasted this long. So, and then like you said, it's to nobody's surprise that, I did get the notification of the healthy scratch, and I was like, oh, God, not this again.
Right. Everybody thought that. Everybody was just like, what's going on? And then he tweeted like, I'm just as surprised as everybody else. But then McVay said, I don't know why he would be surprised. Like, we had a very clear conversation. Whatever. I was rooting for him like the first time that he kind of got thrown under the bus or whatever you want to call it, just in terms of like the locker room issues with him and how he wanted out at first. And I was just like, no, like, come on, Cam, we need you. But hey, if it's not working for the team, we move, right?
Yeah, of course. Like, and I guess we should add that for those of you that don't know, I'm sure at this point you guys do, but he did get traded to the Minnesota Vikings, who there is a familiar face running that team. What do you think about that?
So I actually thought that he was going to probably end up in Cleveland, just considering their circumstances. Obviously, Nick Chubb had just a devastating injury, season-ending injury. So I thought that with them being short a back, that they would maybe be hitting us up. But it made sense. They called Kareem Hunt. He knows the offense.
Right.
They're going to roll with Ford, Kareem Hunt. I don't know how they're going to do it. Split snaps, whatever. But they're going to make it work. They didn't want Cam and his 1.7 yards per carry. So maybe Kevin O'Connell can work with him in that offense. Obviously, he knows him well.
Right.
And good luck in Minnesota. It's cold, but good luck.
I mean, yeah. I do wish him luck. Obviously, still 2020 Cam is something that a lot of people won't forget. But there's just, at this point, there's just really no salvaging that. Unfortunately. Right. And maybe we got our guy in Kyren. So speaking of Kyren, did you want to go over quickly I mean, you and I talked about this, and we were like, we both had the same feeling. Like, I know it's Niners week, obviously there's like some expectations, but that's like the best I felt after a loss in a long time.
God, they're gonna rip us up because there's no moral victories, right?
We're acknowledging it.
Right, there's no moral victories, whatever, we get it. But considering what people thought the Rams were going to come out and look like against the number one team in the league, like, we looked good out there. And like, I think that it's not that I'm okay with the loss. I just feel confident in the loss, knowing that like there's nothing but room for improvement. You know what I mean? Like, that was a good game.
Yeah. And it did remind me of the last Niner game we played 2 seasons ago, where it was like everything was going great first half, and then of course the fourth quarter just like went downhill. Late fourth quarter.
I was there for that game. Yeah, well, that game went into overtime. Like the first time
Yeah.
that we played the Niners
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home,
I'm talking
the
about,
season that
yeah.
we won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we blew it. Like we blew it. And I think that a big part of it is obviously division, rivals. I think that Shanahan had McVay's number, but like you have to think this is somewhat of a different offense in the sense that we have a new offensive coordinator, with LaFleur, and we have a very healthy Stafford for once. The offensive line is looking like pristine. Um, we have different weapons. Like obviously Cooper Kupp is out. That was big for us, but Puka has stepped up like hasn't missed a step, right?
Mhm.
Tutu is shining. Just like everything is clicking, which is great for Sean McVay. And I think that now that he doesn't have the sticks in his hands and he's like, let somebody else take
Yeah.
over, then we've opened the playbook even more. Like I knew, I said this, okay, I said this when Rams Twitter was tripping, talking about we were tanking or whatever. Like I knew that he was trying to figure something out. Like McVay was in the lab trying to be in the playbook. I didn't think that he was going to be working with Tutu the way that he was and just like running Kyren the way that he is and just using him in the pass pro and just the things
Mhm.
that we're doing. I didn't expect to see it like this, but I knew something was cooking. And it's really exciting to see, like it was definitely a different McVay. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one thing that made me more excited too is just like you said, he's getting everybody involved. I think that
Yeah.
we don't want to live by Cooper and we don't want to die by him either. And I think that maybe it has to do with, I mean, and we had heard this, right? Where McVay had said, hey, this season, I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm not going to just, when it comes to the offense, of course, because we know Raheem has full control of the defense, but just having him just like step back a little bit, let LaFleur do what he can do, let him help where he can help. That's his job. And of course, I'm sure McVay has obviously the ultimate say, but I think that it's like it's it's been a lot. I think the word I can use is like refreshing, right? And like all of the things that you named. I mean, Kyren ran for one, but he also had a receiving touchdown, right? Like, and I know that I've seen Cam do it too, but it's just like there's one thing I think that we can also chat about. The only thing that I kind of noticed is Higbee's production's a little down. I don't know if that's a red flag. I don't know if it was just the game. It may have been just the fact that we're playing the Niners, but I have seen his production decrease a little bit the first 2 weeks.
I'm going to have to look into that. I mean, I thought that we were using him, well, and,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just like bringing in the big bodies when need be.
Right.
But in terms of our weapons, like the ball, or should I say the ball being spread out,
Yeah.
definitely. Like
Mhm.
I don't think Van's going to be getting many more targets, but
Bro,
um,
on this water.
yeah. And I mean, like I think we talked about this. Like I expected a big year from Van. Granted, week 3, he still has 15
Yeah,
weeks to go. He has a
sure.
lot to prove, but he is kind of like the vet that's
Yeah.
out there right now with Cooper being gone. And I
Yes.
just expected him to step up. I expect
Right.
him to fight for the ball more. I expect him to put up his body more and just want to prove that he deserves to get paid. Like, I don't know if he wants to stay here in LA, whatever the case. Like, obviously, he's not going
Right.
to decide that.
Yeah.
His play is ultimately going to dictate the type of market that he's going to attract or whatever. But I'm disappointed. And
I
like he
agree.
had a drop. His first target was a drop, and then his second target led to an interception,
Mm-hmm.
which looking back on those interceptions, both of them, somebody was like, they have some context to them. They absolutely do.
Sure.
Kyren put a hand on the ball. You got to grab that. But that is what changed the momentum of that game because I was
Oh,
there.
100%. 100%.
Timeout because we'll address this because we keep everything real. It was red as fuck in that stadium. Like the jokes, the Levi South jokes, like I mean, it is what it is.
I'm
People
so
sell
sick
their
of this
tickets in this city.
conversation. Yeah. Yeah.
They wanted LA to have football, and like I was telling somebody, what that turned into, because football's been gone for so long, is just like people are going to pay money to see their team come into town. And people expected the Rams to not be good. But I mean, this was our season opener. Like, that is ridiculous that we couldn't show up, show out, block the Niners from coming and making that stadium look like a sea of red, but whatever.
Yeah, I obviously wasn't at the game. I was at the tailgate. I do
You're
remember
at the
you
tailgate.
were posting something about the sea of red. I'm so sick of having this conversation. I'm also kind of tired of explaining to people that are not like us, that meaning they're not from LA, they're not natives. They don't understand the context that you just provided. They don't get it, right?
Yeah,
All
I
they
know.
see is they see it as black and white. So they'll just be like, that's embarrassing. Their fans didn't show up. No, that's not the case. Like you said,
Yeah.
one, LA is an extremely diverse city, right? Where, like you said, LA didn't have a team for 20 years. The Rams have only been back 8 years. That's
My
not.
dad was a Rams fan as a kid, and when the Rams left, he's like, "Why am I going to root for a team that's not in LA anymore?"
Yeah.
But you know, even the St. Louis Twitter fans, like, they took their shots, they
Mm-hmm.
threw in their 2 cents, and it's just like, it's so divisive. Like, Rams Twitter is truly a toxic place, but
Yeah, but you
I'm
know
on
what?
there.
Let's right. Closing this off, like this conversation off. It's gonna take time. We have kids that are probably like your daughter's age and a little bit older who are growing up, right, with the Rams being successful. They probably some of these kids already have that memory of them winning the Super Bowl. It's gonna
Yep.
take time. They were gone for 20 years. It's a diverse city. People
Let
like
it
from
marinate. Exactly.
yeah, it let it marinate, and LA is a travel destination. So people are going to pay them money to go see their team play in LA. Like it's that simple, right? But we don't have the time or the breath to or the energy to explain this to folks. It's a sea of red. You're absolutely right. It was the home opener. It is embarrassing, point blank at the end of the day.
Levi
So
South. Well, we saw our team win a Super Bowl in our stadium, part-time Levi South, whatever you want to call it, but we won. So moving on.
yeah, moving on. Okay.
No, but we'll kind of wrap up the game. Just kind of your takeaways. You know, what did you think about the O line?
uh Very happy from what I'm seeing with the O line. I think Stafford only got sacked once, twice, I believe.
One. Yep.
Once,
I
and
think
that was in
two
the
is,
fourth quarter.
yeah, he took a sack though.
Yeah, no. I know he did for a fact, but I just don't know if it was once or twice. But I do know it was also late in the game, so that's impressive. Um, I don't know. I This is one thing I want to say. We can blame this on the fact that he held out, but another thing that made me happy about our line was the fact that Nick Bosa wasn't the Nick Bosa that we know
He
and love.
wasn't disrupting shit. Yeah.
I don't
Somebody was
know.
like, maybe his wallet is holding him down, but nah,
That's a
he
beautiful reason
wasn't.
to be held out. But we could blame this on the fact that he held out, sure. But again, an upright Stafford is a great Stafford. Some of
Oh
these
yeah.
lasers that he was throwing that day, I was like, man, like I think he threw for like what 300 yards that day. But still,
Hmm.
regardless, we weren't beating them on the ground. We knew that. That was already the difference in passing. I think I saw the stats by like the second quarter, yeah, or maybe halftime. It was like obviously they were beating us on the ground. Of course, CMC is there. That's a given,
Because
right?
of that explosive run. Like,
Yeah.
CMC had that like 51
And we
yard
didn't have those
run. So
explosive
he went
guys.
out for over 100 yards, had a
Right. But
touchdown.
even
But
regardless,
that
what I'm
was
saying,
the only one. Like, we contained him for the most
sure,
part. We didn't let
sure.
him get off that edge too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. But still, like what I'm ultimately, it's like the stuff that we knew, nothing was shocking when it came to the run game, sure. But again, like when it comes to the O line, Stafford was passing. He was getting those throws off, and I was just like, dude,
He had time. Yeah.
he had time again against arguably, not even arguably, maybe second best defense, not in the NFC, in the entire league. Like
That's what they say, right?
that's what they're
That's
saying.
what they say.
That's what they're saying.
But yet, according to who is it? I don't even know who put out this little ranking. We're
It's
23rd. I know that. We're 23rd.
okay.
Even though we lost by a score, 7 points, but the box scores very similar. You know, the time of possession, we have more in terms of time of possession. Like it was a loss, yeah. But if there are other teams that have 2 losses that are ranked higher than us, it makes no sense to me. No sense. It's not, this isn't based off of performance and play anymore. Like I've realized that.
Oh no. Okay. Mike Florio from NBC, who runs Pro Football Talk, I don't know if he was trying to do what Chris Collinsworth is doing with Pro Football Focus, but obviously it's not the same. I don't know. That could not even be the case. But I know, or I've heard, I've been told, Mike Florio's not a fan of the Rams for whatever reason. I personally, with that list that we're talking about, you guys, that power ranking, like Brittany mentioned, they had the Rams at
peak.
They had Rams at 23. I believe they had the Seahawks above us after winning.
So the Rams 23, the Chargers 22, the Bengals 21, the 1-1 Titans at 20, the 1-1 Browns at 17, the 1-1 Giants who got smacked by the Cowboys at 13, ladies and gentlemen. The 1-1 Steelers who got smacked by that same team that we lost by 7 points to is 12th. With Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Get out of here. Nah.
Yeah.
You guys are joking. Like this is
And at some point we have to understand that like
Seahawks at 10.
Yeah.
The Seahawks at 10 and then even the Lions at 11.
They're 10th.
I don't believe.
The conference. Yeah, he has in 10th overall. So that list is a complete joke. I don't know what he is using for even the first 6. I'm cool with interchanging those. There's some of those that could be interchanged, right? I think he has Dallas first, Niners second, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the third one. I think it's the Chiefs.
The Dolphins are third, and I definitely respect that.
Sure. The first 6 can be interchanged. And there can be valid reasons as to why.
The Chiefs are 5th because you have to put some respect on the fact that they have Patrick Mahomes. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. I mean, they have a loss, right? Mm-hmm. To the Lions.
But yeah, that list.
But they're 5. I get it. I get what they're doing. I see what they're doing. The Bills at 7 when they lost to a super deflated Jets team. After Aaron Rodgers went down, like it was just gonna be the easiest task. You had one job. They lost. Then obviously they're gonna smack the Raiders because the Raiders are just gonna Raider. And they're 7th?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I gotta look at a few other rankings. I haven't had the chance to look outside of Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Talk, not to be confused with Pro Football Focus.
We're not that high. We're not high anywhere. We're like 20th as the highest, which.
But you know what?
Keep sleeping.
People thought that I only took issue with the Rams thing. Sure. The only problem I really had is having a team that we defeated, arguably defeated, not barely slim by in week 1 at home, right? We beat them at home. That's not the only issue I took. There's just some teams that are way too high, like for the reasons that you mentioned. And again, Pro Football Talk came out with an NFC ranking, and that one was even funnier than this one, right?
I don't even want to see it.
So, are we playing outside of more than what people expected us? We are. So I understand why we're at 20th. I just don't agree with some of the teams that are above us in general, even the teams that don't have anything to do with us. That list is.
But we can look at this as the type of football team we could be on paper, the type of football team we should be on paper, and what other teams could and should be on paper. Like obviously, we know that the Bengals team is stacked, right? But the last 2 weeks they've been losing. They lost. They went into last season 0-2, granted, whatever the case is. But the point is, I want to talk about going into week 3 where everybody is. And I don't think that we're the 20th, 23rd team. But go ahead. Like I said, keep sleeping.
And that's that on that.
Speaking of the Bengals, like, and I don't even have smoke for the Bengals like that. But obviously, we play them Monday Night Football. I don't know. I don't know if Joe Burrow's playing. Like, that is something huge to watch. He's dealing with that calf injury. The line, in terms of the betting line, went from the Bengals being -6.5 to being -1.5, which is
I thought
huge.
two. Okay, so okay, two. I mean one. Sorry, I had seen two because
So it's
it went.
basically like two. Yeah, if you can get
Yeah.
two, go ahead. But I don't know. I personally think that if he's day to day and he's saying that it really is sore like it was after the game, then because this Rams team isn't that great on paper, right? This is a game that you would sit him because you can't afford for him to lose any more of those division games. You just lost two. The AFC North
Right.
is doing things, like I would think, that they would, if they had to make a decision, they're going to rest him for him
Mhm.
to heal and get it better versus for him to continue to play and make it worse. If he does play, what do I expect? I expect defense to stay the same. I think that they have weapons in terms of T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, obviously, even Tyler Boyd. I don't think that their run game is efficient right now, let alone anywhere near efficient as the Niners. Like, I think that we're going to win this game with or without Joe Burrow playing. And that's just what it is. I think that if Stafford plays the type of games that he's been playing on offense, like we're going to win the game. They played the Ravens this past week. They didn't sack Lamar once. It was a close game. I think it was like 27-24.
Mhm.
Joe Burrow had 2 touchdowns, but Lamar didn't have any interceptions. He didn't get sacked. If we can keep Matthew Stafford clean, if we can keep him upright, and if we can just have him continue to pick them apart, even just with those crossing routes, I don't care. I don't care.
Hey,
Just
spam that crossing
move
route.
the
People are
ball.
like, I haven't seen Puka go deep. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they said that he's Cooper Cup 2.0 and he's always like lined up in the slot or he's doing most of the slot routes. Whatever the case is, he's catching the ball. He had 20 targets, 15 catches, over
Right. Oh, yeah.
140 yards last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
He's balling. And I expect that same thing to happen. Like, I expect Stafford to just pick them apart. Just
Yeah.
every week, go to work. He's healthy. Why are you wasting your reps? You know what I mean? Like, why are you wasting while you're on the field getting paid? He's going to be throwing the ball. We're going to run the ball, obviously, especially because I saw that the Bengals gave up like almost 200 yards to the Ravens in rushing.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
I expect us to run the ball with Kyren, but I expect us to win this game.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah. Yeah. With or without Joe Burrow, I would actually prefer that Joe Burrow plays. I have a reason. I have a feeling that you make a valid point that they for why they would rest him.
Okay.
I just don't know if they want to risk starting 0-3. That's the only
True.
thing. That's the
True.
only thing. But if I'm thinking long term, I'm resting him. I've already lost 2 division games back to back. This Rams game is, you know, but maybe for optics, I'm thinking, hey, let's just play him. We don't want to start 0-3. We're at home. Um, but
And you paid him. You know what I
and you
mean?
paid
So
him, and he's not playing up to those standards, right?
he's not. I mean, but you don't just say, well, he's cooked.
No,
Go with
absolutely not.
somebody else.
He's Joe Burrow at the end
That
of the day.
you
Yeah,
paid him for a reason. He's supposed to
right.
rise up in the face of pressure, whatever the case is. But
Yeah,
you don't want him to end up in a bad situation. You don't
making
want
it
him
work.
to tear
Right,
it or do
right. Cooking
anything.
their entire season. Like, never mind this game. So, but
Hello.
like I said, I think it's a 50-50 split as to why they could sit him or start him. Um, I too think that we can win this game decisively. I don't know, but I actually have a good feeling about this game. I think that we're going to be pretty much doing the same thing we've been doing the first 2 games.
Okay.
We are going to be on the road again, so that's something to watch, right? Especially for our young guys, seeing how they play on the road. It's in Cincinnati. It's cold.
The weather is going to be nice, though. I looked at that. It's supposed
Okay,
to be like
regardless,
71 degrees. That's a nice, crisp day.
nine. Sorry, young guys play better at home, of course, but I actually have a really good feeling about this, mainly
Okay.
because I'm confident in one, obviously in our offense. I feel like we cannot say enough about this offensive line, right? It's still doing some reshuffling. Of course, we lost Noteboom for the Niner game. That played a huge part.
Things shifted.
Yeah. But we just can't say enough about that O-line. We can't say enough about
Looking
Steve.
good.
Yeah. We
Looking really
cannot say
good.
enough about him, right? Like this kid is just he is just
It really reiterates what I've said all along is that Les is just a mastermind at going to work and finding these diamonds in the draft. You know what I mean? Just the
yeah.
picks that we make. Not all of them. Like that's the luck of the
Sure.
draft. You
Sure.
don't
Like you
talent
can
doesn't always
cut your
pan out.
losses. Yeah, cut those losses, right?
Situations don't always work, but we
But
got something going with Steve
and
and Puka.
I'll say this last thing, and we can talk about your bets, and then we'll go on to a little bit of fantasy. But I am seeing a couple of tweets, not from people of the Rams, not from Rams Twitter. I'm seeing a couple of tweets saying not that they stole the draft, right? But a little bit like I'm trying to remember what the exact wording was because I don't want to misquote them, but they're just saying that we outperformed for this draft
Right.
season.
Like we got a hell of a deal on Puka. Like 19 other receivers went before him, and just the round that we got him in, and just a lot of good caliber players, with what we had.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of
nothing
bright
picks doesn't look too bad.
right,
We got
right.
good
So
picks.
it's looking brighter every day. So I'm really excited about that. So we are playing a Monday night. It is a doubleheader. The Bucks and the Eagles play, I believe, before us.
Do they? Oh, okay. I don't like
I
those double
think
headers. Like,
I don't either. I
stop.
think it's a lot.
I want to watch one game at a
Yeah,
time on Monday.
yeah. Um. So yeah, the
Okay,
Bucks.
so really quick, do you think that so the Bucks and the Eagles, I don't even know what the spread is, whatever, just straight up win. If the Bucks win, does that mean that the Bucks are for real and the Eagles aren't as good as we think that they are?
I think that if the Bucks do win, then if the Bucks win this time, then people are gonna be like, all right, we gotta
You
stop
got to
playing.
take Baker a little bit serious,
We
right?
gotta
Like
stop. Hey,
he
look,
means
listen. I
business.
think we talked about this. Baker gets no more slander from me, and you guys can cut this little piece out. And if you ever see me slandering Baker Mayfield, then you could be like, "Hey, P, you lied," because Baker
We
gets
gave him we said we gave him a clean start when he came to LA, and we wanted him to stay as a backup, but we get it. He wants to
yeah.
he wants to drive the whip, he wants to start a job, and he
And
means
if he has,
business.
like
We'll
you said,
see.
he played. He had been a Ram for 45 minutes, came and then beat the Raiders right in the style that he beat the Raiders. So that man gets so much slander
In
from
his
me.
Browns cleats, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But and
That's
of course I
nasty work.
always enjoy making Raider fans suffer because that's just a different conversation. But anyway, if the Bucks do beat the Eagles, I think that we can start having maybe a serious conversation about them. Maybe Baker's having some sort of resurgence. Mike Evans too. That's his guy. Of course, Mike Evans should be anybody's guy. I think he's an underrated receiver. He's just had injury issues, right? Unfortunately. I know we can also talk about their line, right? They have some good guys there too. So
Didn't they lose their center
yes, they did. And I think
for the
he's actually
season?
done for good.
What, right?
What's that?
Was it Wirtz? Who did they lose?
No, his name was I think his name's Ryan, if I'm not mistaken. But I
Well,
forgot what
whatever.
injury
But
he had.
they
But
don't have as bad as O-line issues as I thought that they would have,
no, they don't.
considering
Tristan Wirfs,
whoever they lost.
Tristan Wirfs still plays. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with the Eagles on this one,
Okay.
but I think the Bucks are gonna keep it close. I think
Nice.
they're gonna keep it close. Um,
I'll be watching until it's time to turn to our game.
I love the remote control um gesture. Yeah, I again, don't quote me on that. I don't know who plays first. I don't know if it's them. I don't know if it's us. We got to figure that out. I believe this is the last Monday night doubleheader though for the season. I don't know what the point of that is, but
Oh. So we're the second game. We started 5:15 our
okay. So
time.
yeah,
So
I
we're
was
the
right.
second game.
Okay, got it. Oh wait, can you are the Bucks at home or are they away?
The Bucks are going to be at home.
Okay,
Tough
that's
crowd.
important.
I've been there.
You have been there. That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
That's
It is.
important.
It's going to be a nice evening game. I don't know what the weather's going to be in Florida. Like, there's a lot going on with the weather, but anywho, I'll be watching for about an hour and then time to tune into my boys. So,
Okay.
all right.
Um,
Well,
let's see.
looking ahead, I guess I'm gonna give out Brit's best bet. I haven't really, today's Wednesday, so let's just say that I haven't done like my solidified studying, but I have been on the Green Bay Packers for 2 weeks now because I'm a believer in Jordan Love.
I
Like,
love that.
I really think that he's a baller. Just the time that he spent behind Aaron Rodgers, we didn't know what he was doing. Like, it's been quiet, but obviously he was learning from the master. He was picking up from the sensei. And he has 6 touchdowns, no turnovers. This is Green Bay's home opener. They're playing the
Okay,
Saints.
that's important. That's important. They're playing the
They're playing
Saints.
the Saints. So I told somebody the other day that Green Bay has 7 first rounders on defense. 7 first rounders. That is insane. Just like an insane amount of talent. They gave up 24 points to the Falcons. Desmond Ridder, Bijan Robinson, whatever. I don't think that they're going to let me down at Lambeau. Home opener.
Yeah, yeah.
-2 against the Saints. Derek Carr coming off a little bit of a shorter week. He
Okay, so
did not
what
look
is
that great.
it?
Like, he has not been
Right.
looking. His connection with Olave, like, obviously when they connect, it's great, but it's not there all the time. Like, he had his moments with Michael Thomas. Obviously, he had a lot of receptions in this last game, but that offense doesn't have the spark that it needs that I think is going to get them over the hump. So I'm
Let's
rolling with the Packers.
let's
Packers
do
-2. Give me that. Give me that.
Packers minus two. That's the line. Okay.
Packers
Packers minus
minus.
two. Okay.
And then for real quick for a prop, even though I don't bet on our team, I think that this is going to be the week that Puka has a touchdown. Like, Matthew only has one passing touchdown to Kyren. It was kind of like a quick little toss pass. I think he's going to get Puka in the end zone for his first
Okay.
career touchdown.
All
So
right.
I'm going
Perfect.
to get that one.
All
What is
right.
going on in your fantasy leagues? The 15 that you have.
Girl, look.
You had Nick Chubb. I mean, injuries suck, and we
I did
obviously we
have
want him
I
to get
did
better,
have
but they
I
suck for fantasy players too.
of course. They suck in real life, and of course
Yeah,
I didn't.
absolutely.
That wasn't my immediate thought, but like I also had Aaron Rodgers, by the way.
Mm.
I am in 3 leagues, you guys. I'm a psycho, and if you are watching this, you're listening to this. I'm sure you're in 3 leagues yourself. You're probably in 4 or 5 leagues. You're like this girl, whatever.
I'm in one. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I'm 0-2 in 2 leagues, and
Mm.
conveniently so, the 2 leagues that I'm 0-2 in, I had Aaron Rodgers in one, and I had Nick Chubb in the other. I am seeing some bright spots though. I am 1-1 in a different league. Um,
Real man's record.
and yeah, I don't. I think I've told you this before, but I have no Rams on any of my teams.
I
Not
got
one.
Puka.
Not even
I
by
got Puka.
accident. Not
I
even
got
by
him
accident.
last week.
I couldn't even get Tutu. Okay,
Really?
girl, no. Like these guys were just Puka and one of my leagues had 8 claims for this is a
Really?
10 this is a 10-man team and 8 teams had submitted claims for him. Okay. I
That's
was like,
wild.
6 on the waiver wire, so there was no
Nobody
shot.
wanted Puka in my league, and I'm in a 12-person league, and I was like the 8th person on the waiver claim, and nobody
Yes.
wanted him. But that's okay.
So there was no shot I was gonna get him. Other than that, I think this is the week I'm gonna win in those 0-2 leagues.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
got
little
this.
confident. I'm hitting the
Who's
waiver
going to
wire.
be your quarterback for one of the leagues? Tell me.
I have Russell Wilson in one. I
I
have
have
Justin.
him on my bench.
Yeah, I have Justin Herbert in the other. I never ever can draft in fantasy football without drafting Justin Herbert. I believe in him still. I'm losing faith, but I believe in him.
We'll talk more about the Chargers next week.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see what they do this week, and we'll talk about them then.
And so I don't have anybody going tomorrow. I'm a little uneasy. Actually, I do. I actually have Christian McCaffrey in one of my leagues. So I do have Christian McCaffrey going tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I actually have Christian McCaffrey and Tony Pollard in that league, and I'm still 0-2, girl. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So that just goes to show you that football is unpredictable. Fantasy football is unpredictable. We've had, and we can probably end this with this, but there's a lot of conversation of training camp. The guys, like, obviously, not training camp, preseason, and it's been a couple of weird first 2 weeks, right? Like, we've had some bad injuries already. I think this makes a case for let's get these guys some snaps in preseason. I know these are your stars. I know you want to rest them, but play them a couple snaps, get them loose a little bit, and then hopefully you don't risk losing them for the entire season. Because I actually have a couple buddies that are also 0-2, by the way, Brittany. Like, it's not just me, and it's not just because I'm a girl. And blah, no, like, I have a couple of friends who are actually
tough.
It's tough, right?
I'm 2-0, and I mean that's not to brag, but that that I was looking like, okay, I'm proud of myself. That is like a very, very incredible feat for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, winning back to back is like, yeah. Fantasy football is hard.
NFL meet parity. Yeah, it's anybody's week. That's why I love it.
Literally, and just a couple of plays can literally just that's the entire week right there. Changes everything. But of course, we love it. So we are on to week 3. Rams play Monday night, so we'll have somewhat of a peaceful Sunday. Hopefully. Yeah, I don't see why not, but unless it's my fantasy team.
We can watch games Sunday, and then, we're going to war Monday.
Yeah, so I think I'll be watching a little bit of peace on Sunday. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully by the next time we talk and we're on here, the Rams are 2-1.
And 2-1.
The Rams are 2-1. There's a lot of upside here, a lot of bright spots, and don't sleep. Like Brittany said, don't sleep.
They can stay asleep.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wake you up in a minute.
All right, guys.
All right.
Talkin Sporty with Brittany Bets and P. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
I just want to get a little taste, and I see you keep your body in shape. Look, I just want to die. Damn, you look good, huh? Damn, you look good, girl, and you look good.